Hello, hello, hello. Oh man, when I start laughing like that, it's always something shady afoot. Um, Tell you what, let me do this because we can all have a good laugh about this together. Oh man, I tell you, it's a process. It really is a process. But the thing is, there's just so much going on right now. Okay, so I got that, and we can all have a laugh about that in a little while. Okay, get rid of that, and we're wait a minute, almost, and we're good. But yes, Dr. Shola has been out today, and I'm here for it. Oh man, Operation Little House on the Prairie, or as some people in my neighborhood would say, the Prairie. But yeah, Operation Little House on the Prairie. And with that, I am ready to start. Okay, let me see who was here first. Um, okay, I'm scrolling back. Let me see who was here first. Ah, Lydia Washington. Oh, Lydia has the what is that? Oh, that's official Lauren Brown. Yes, that is a Sussex friendly space. So if you have not taken the time, please do it now. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Lauren Brown. Lauren Brown has spoken on the Royal Sussex from time to time. Something I always look forward to because she lends a very um, capable, incredible, intelligent voice to a conversation that is ongoing. So, always glad to have her here. All right, so pardon me while I multitask. I just need to do one last thing, and we're good. Oh, by the way, no, you know what? I'll get to that in just a second because the thing about the Coronation Day Grim Reaper, there seems to be some people who are unclear about the source of that, but I can assure you that that is a real thing. So we'll look at that again together soon and have a discussion about that. Very brief discussion, I'm sure. All right. So thank you, Lydia Washington, Lorna Williams, Fancy, Karuna Reina, Manello, Carol Lunn, Elaine Parker, Lola Love, Ingrid Soares, Sonia Johnson, Andrew Bodie. Let me see who else here. Uh, Lisha Cordova, thank you so much for being here. V. Brom, Janice Goodrich, Connie Bowmer. Connie Bowmer. See, if I was a smoker, I wouldn't have been able to do that. It would have been Connie Bowmer. But no, since I have never been a smoker, and I do mean never smoked anything, I can hold those notes. All right. So with that, there we go. That is what I was stalling for, is to get this up here. This, of course, is the. Let me see. Oh, you know what? I got the microphone literally behind my back. Okay. I had moved it out the way, so that's why I was probably sounding a bit off, but now I'm here. Okay, so there we go. Let me do this full size. Aha. Yes, Harry is the most popular, and there seems to be some buyer's remorse when it comes to this coronation, and we will get to that very soon. But there seems to be a bit of buyer's remorse. Hello, Dorothy Ross with the hugs, Andrea Allen, Mabel Jones, Nancy Herlock. Um, okay, I'm gonna scroll all the way down to the very last. Make sure there are no super chats, new super stickers, or, of course, ever so important, new members to Royal Sussex. I don't see any of that. All right. And most importantly, let me close this Twitter because I cannot stop looking at it. I remember when I was like, I had never went on Twitter before Royal Sussex. And now it's just like I get lost in the Twitter universe. Okay. Hi, Kim Peaches. Is next. There we go. The monarch was reportedly genuinely disappointed that Prince Harry skipped his coronation lunch, though it was pretty clear he wasn't welcome. Welcome, Smelcom. I don't know. That is his father. He is the son of Charles, who happens to be king. And Harry loves his father, he loves his brother. And that is something that does not go away. Having seen so many people on television, in interviews, read articles or magazine stories, whatever, about someone who has done something incredibly infamous and notorious and, of course, destructive, that does not stop you from being that person's family. However, you can keep those that have been abusive to you at a distance, even if it's a parent. Sometimes you just have to do that. And so people who hold that against the Sussexes because of their problems, their estrangements, of course, from their parents, is totally not their faults. Society, of course, is one factor. Another factor is the fact that some people choose profits over their children. And whether your profit is that you have a chance to have a cozy relationship with the very press that could easily destroy you. And so, in exchange for that, you turn your back on your own child. Or if you're like some washed out has been that worked in Hollywood for years, and somebody comes along and you having a rather fragile and somewhat questionable mental capacity starts taking money and that causes harm. The thing is, Harry and Meghan have a right to love someone as husband and wife and to have children and to enjoy their happiness. And if your families try to do anything to stop that from happening, you have two choices. You could either stay in there and allow that abuse to continue, or you can move on. And that's, last night I happened to listen to that farewell speech that Harry gave when he said he was leaving the institution. And it is so much more, I guess, relevant now than it was in that moment. Or should I say, it's just as relevant. And I didn't even know I was going to talk about it. Otherwise, I would have had something prepared. But I listened to it last night, and then I'm thinking about it as I'm speaking. And Harry said that there were some tough choices that had to be made because of the treatment from his family, from the press. They did not want Harry to be happy. I just don't understand how a parent, even if it does mean what all of that stuff that Charles has, I guess it's a lot to try to reason with, since that's not something that most of us would ever experience. Your child or your kingdom, your child or your kingdom. Now, maybe the choice wasn't real. Maybe that's the choice that his father seems to believe it is, and that the crown comes first. Well, everything in his life conditioned him for the crown comes first. But Harry wants to put his life, put his happiness, put his children and his wife first above all of those things. And that is a choice that everybody has to make. But in some respects, I guess you could say maybe it's not a choice. Maybe it's not a choice. Maybe they're just, and like Harry said, they're trapped. They're trapped and they don't know they're trapped. And that's not satisfactory to some people because it seems like it's leaving them a way out, or it absolves them of any responsibility for the things that have been said and done. But it is a factor. And unless you walk a mile in someone else's shoes, you couldn't know what that's like. But I don't know what it's like for someone to assume I'm brilliant because of my birthright, or that I'm worthy of this or that because of my birthright. I don't know what that is. I haven't experienced that. I guess then some ways, maybe some people do think I have this coming to me or that coming to me because of my birthright. And of course, when I say that, I'm speaking of prejudice, and not just racism prejudice, but all types of prejudice. But that is part of life. So it is a tragedy. It really is a tragedy for everyone involved. And a long time ago, I felt a certain way about the way that institution treated their children, even before the spare, because you cannot eliminate those factors. It is part of the whole story, is the way everyone in that institution has been born and bred into this institution. And there's so many people that benefit from them. Could you imagine being an Oprah and having so much wealth and prestige, and then every other person you speak to, they look at you like, oh, this person, meaning Oprah, could change my entire life if she just gives me this or do that for me or put me in touch with so and so. And in some cases, that's true. But how do you handle that responsibility? How do you handle that? So we're all products of our circumstances. And maybe that's the way Harry sees it. And it does look awkward for people on the outside to see him walking back into that snake pit, even if it's for a short period of time. I had no doubt that Harry would go to the UK. Everything would be uneventful. There was just too much happening for things to go wrong. Now, had he stayed and tried to deviate away from his family, then he could have gotten himself in trouble. It happened before when he went there for the Well Child event. And I believe he went to that event without the royal protection, but with his own bodyguards. And I believe someone attempted to follow them or something like that. But as long as it's a state occasion, he'll be fine. They would all be fine. And there was absolutely no booing toward him because nobody even knew where he was coming and going. And Harry worked it out perfect, which is why I always tell you guys, please trust Harry. Please trust him. You don't have to agree with him, but trust his judgment. He knows that family, and he's not lacking intelligence. He's not a dumb person. He knows what he's doing. So please trust him. Trust both of them to know what's best for one another and for their family. If nothing else, you don't have to like what they decide, but please trust them and pray for him. That's the other thing you could do, is just pray for him. So Charles, with his genuinely disappointed stance, who even knows if he said that? That may be something that was leaked from his people, or maybe it was just something that's made up, or maybe it's something in between. Maybe it was interpreted the wrong way. Who knows? Maybe Charles didn't care. I mean, anytime you have something as big as that occasion, there's so many other things going on. Like, for instance, your other son and his family being late to the party. That is something that you would worry about, not someone that you have no control over, not someone who's not going to inherit the kingdom. So I doubt if Charles was even giving Harry that much consideration. Now, there was one photo that was posted, or should I say, that was in an article that said that Charles was looking over to Harry. I don't know how true that is. From the angle, I really could not tell. I did see Charles looking over to the right side, as he was processing through the Abbey. But whether or not he was actually looking at Harry, I don't know. I can't say one way or the other. Maybe he was, maybe he was not. I could not tell. I didn't even bother to save the photo because I just wasn't sure what was going on. Very difficult to tell from that angle. There was a sea of people in costumes and Harry in his beautiful Dior suit. So I couldn't tell. There was someone with a big stupid feather in their hat. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. T. Higgins, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex and for being a member of Royal Sussex. And also, what else did I see here? Was that a super chat? Hi, Nash Sinby. Thank you so much for being here. Nash wants to say hi to a few people. Beverly Isidore. Okay. Okay, Teresa McDougal. There we go. Knew there was a super chat. Teresa McDougal says, Harry said on Colbert, freedom, happiness, clarity, space, love. Yes, thank you so much for remembering that. That is what was it, the 5 most important things for him, or the 5 words that were most important to him. And there you go. So thank you, Teresa McDougal. That is excellent. And thank you for being a member. Pamela says, let me see. Why would our beloved Harry go to lunch only to be ignored and treated coldly? He went home to his loving family. Bottom line, and that is a good question, but bottom line, he had a flight to catch. He had a flight to catch. Lunch or no lunch, he meant to be in California on his son's birthday. Now, I personally don't think that that is the most important thing in the world for some people, but for those who it is, then so be it. That's his son. That's his birthday. His life is in California now. You know, some parents, I'm just thinking, some working class parents have to work on their children's birthday. I've experienced that. I was a latchkey kid, and that's just the way it is. So I'm not going to say that, oh, you know, but if you believe that they deliberately scheduled an event on your child's birthday just to spite you, right? Even if it wasn't the Charles' fault, whether it was or it wasn't, it's still Archie's birthday, right? And given the fact that the Sussex family are in a very vulnerable position where the paparazzi is concerned, they have their security concerns and all those things. I'm sure Harry doesn't want to be away from his family for a considerable amount of reasons. And of course, if it's your child's 4th birthday, I would rather be there than to sit around a table with a bunch of stony faced people that may or may not have my best interests in heart. So far, it seems like a selected few do not have his best interests at heart. So, you know what? Get me to California on the first thing smoking. They only have so many flights a day that's going in that direction to that destination. And if I was Harry in that situation, and especially with the type of people that I call family, I I tell you what, it's been a minute. It's been a minute, but I think if there's any situation that's appropriate, this is it.
Time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay? Ain't nobody got time for that. So if it's my child's birthday and you all sitting up here acting like you can't wait to get home and give yourselves an enema,
ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't got time for it. Harry ain't got time for it. Ain't nobody got
time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. But Thank you so much, sweet divine. What's her name? Sweet something.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So thank you, Pamela, for the super chat. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Tuesday to you. Yes, it is Tuesday. Oh, you guys, I got so much work I need to do. And the days are just flying by so fast. Oh, that was from yesterday. And I need to arrange some receipts that I need to do that at least once a month. And it's already the 9th of the month and I haven't done it yet. Oh man. So that is going to be hours, like about 10 hours of that I need to do once a week to get everything right. So, oh man, I just realized that looking at the date and the day. All right. So thank you so much, Pamela. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. So let me go to the next one here. Again, there is King Harry, the people's king, the people's prince, the Prince of Hearts, walking. You know, I'm so proud of Harry. I look at him and I see a born leader. He carries himself head and shoulders above everyone else in that family. And it's so I guess it's not hard to say that considering the rest of the family, but I believe that's true. He's as close as anyone in that family could possibly say they have been to being a self-made person. Now, yes, he started out with his inheritance from his mother, but almost immediately, they cut off his money. They cut off his probably his insurance if he had any insurance. All of that left, and so he had to put things back together. Now, yes, he will always be the first to say that he was born into a life of privilege. So you cannot ignore that fact. But considering with what he's done, with what he's had to work with, and especially with the fact that there have been so many threats, not just from people from war, but threats from people in his own country that have labeled him the worst possible names that you could call anyone who just wanted to be happily married. It is. I'm super impressed, and he is truly a king. He's a man. He's the man amongst men, or the whatever that saying is. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Tuesday to you. Thank you so much for being here. And Therese 101, thank you for the super sticker. B10, hey B10, why sit at a dinner table with a bunch of backstabbers, right? They smile in your face. Backstabbers, smile in your face. Okay. Catherine Bryant says, I was shocked when I heard 1 kid out of 10 are dying of starvation. Kids, Catherine Bryant, there is a lot of people that are suffering from malnutrition. And in some cases, if you're not eating a proper diet, this is the thing. It's not just a matter that there's nothing to eat, but when you don't have a proper diet, then of course you can't even calculate how many kids are suffering from illnesses that could allow illness to creep in, or should I say, that are suffering from malnutrition, that of course would allow illness to creep in. But starvation is one of those things where the face of it in a industrialized society looks very different from, like, say, a drought in sub-Saharan Africa or any place where there is food insecurity. But it is a real thing. It does exist. And I even had to have this conversation with someone some time ago about the school closures when they had that blizzard in New York one time. And I told that person, I'm like, but if you're a parent and you're barely making ends meet, if you're a parent that is spending 2/3 of your income on rent, and you depend on that school to provide meals for your children 5 days a week, breakfast and lunch, 5 days a week, it puts so much more pressure on a family just to have to um, come up with one more meal, 1, 2, or 3 days, or let's say come up with 6 meals, breakfast and dinner, or breakfast and lunch. There are kids that literally have their best nutrition at breakfast and at lunchtime. And they say that a child that is hungry doesn't learn as well. So there's so many reasons why it is important for schools to stay open, even in the worst of weather, because some people can't afford to miss a day. Some people may have 2 or 3 jobs just to try to make ends meet. So it may be so much more important than someone in a comfortable position could ever imagine. So, yeah, thank you so much for bringing up that point, Catherine Bryant, because it is a tough situation. And people, as a matter of fact, Catherine, I was going to share something a little bit later about that, but not in terms of children, but it is the impact of the financial crisis that's facing a lot of people in Britain today and people all over the world, even here in the United States. So thank you for that. Also, thank you for being a member. But yeah, I'm feel myself getting a bit emotional about that because it it doesn't make sense that you have so much wealth and opulence, and yet within some of the boroughs right there surrounding Windsor or particularly London, you have so many places where people are barely making it. The housing crisis is just one thing, but the food insecurity, and then of course there's the NHS. There's the NHS. There's no reason why that has to fail. And that's so important because right here in the United States, we have a Republican Party that literally, and I'm going to say one more time, I support Joe Biden. Joe Biden made them promise not to dismantle Social Security live on television with all the cameras, with all the media. Otherwise, the first chance they get, the last safety net that we have for Social Security here in the United States has been the Democrats, because the Republicans, they even go to their fundraisers talking about dismantling that. We'll be in the same position here as so many people are in the UK if they allow that to happen. And this is a very serious thing. You can hear the emotion in my voice. It's very serious. You cannot let these people take away the social safety nets. They convince people that a coronation is the savior of Britain rather than funding the infrastructure necessary to keep people healthy and alive. They don't care about that. And they have this big lie about the tourism. That's a lie. It's not misinformation, it's a lie. That is a lie. They don't bring any extra tourism. Britain don't even get the most tourism in Europe. Most of the top 10 sites that are visited anywhere in Europe, I don't even think it includes anything in the UK. None of it. If it is, it may be one. And whatever that one thing is, I'm sure it doesn't cost you anything to be there. Probably what, standing in front of Buckingham Palace? Most people never see the inside of it. There's going to the palace, and then there's the tour of the palace, which is on a limited schedule every year. It used to be whenever the Queen was in Balmoral. But yeah, it's a very serious thing. Don't let these right wingers take this stuff from you. You better be vigilant and you better be aware of it because they do mean to take these things away from us. And all you have to do is look away for a second because there's pomp and pageantry. And next thing you know, you have some very tough decisions to make. So right here, here is the Express. They had a poll, and I saw this last night. And you know what? Um, I think most of y'all have probably seen the latest one, or at least this is the last one I saw before I went to bed. It may even be higher now, but it started out around 30%, and then it went to 43%, and now, at least as of last night, 52% of the people said, "Who was your favorite royal during the coronation weekend?" Millions watched the coronation ceremony and celebrated the new monarch with community events. But who was the standout royal over the weekend? Vote below. So, of course, I voted for Prince Harry, and it seems like a lot of other people voted for Prince Harry. Now, it should have been easy. It should have been a toss up between Charles and I would say William, right? But no, even if you combine the numbers of people that voted for Charles and William and Kate, it still would not add up to 52%. So you couldn't even say that that number or that figure was divided between them. It certainly was not. It was unanimously 52% Prince Harry. 52% of the people over the weekend was glad to see Harry, enjoyed Harry, loves Harry. 52%. Nat Singby says, "Tell me about it, Baron. I am always behind on things that I am supposed to do. There's never enough time to do them all." Yeah, you're probably speaking about my dilemma with the Royal Sussex. Oh well, I don't know. I am going to at least start it today, and that's just some of the stuff that I have to do. And it's just like this coronation seems to have caught me off guard because, on one hand, I could not be here, but on the other hand, the other stuff, fortunately, it's not, you know, life. What is it? Life, whatever that term is. I can't even think of it now. But it's not life or death that I get that other stuff done. But it would just make what I'm doing now so much easier. So I have to do it. Plus, I'm working on an edited video. I got so sleepy last night. I'm like, I'm going to bed. Otherwise, I wanted to stay up and work on it, but I couldn't. I was exhausted. I'm just like, oh, this is good. But anyway, it's almost done. So probably about maybe an hour or two after I'm finished here. No, or maybe later tonight, I will upload that video. But thank you so much for being in solidarity with my. Oh, okay. Let me turn this ringer off. Being in solidarity with my task that I have to do. And I hope that everything that you need to do is done in a proper amount of time and at the right time, mostly. And thank you for being a member and watching Royal Sussex. But yeah, I keep thinking, well, if I just be a little bit more organized. Let's see, Lady Bird says, Harry is the only one who can save the British monarchy. He is the only one who can modernize it and last for another 1,000 years. Yeah, there will always be some form of monarchy. There's no doubt. There is still the Greek royal family. They just don't have a country right now. They're not even, I don't even know if they're allowed to be there. That was something that took a lot of negotiation for the last king of Greece, the deposed king of Greece. But these families never go away. And until the last member of the family takes their breath, that is always going to be considered their birthright. I mean, there's still a Duke of Orleans who some people say is the rightful king of France. Now, it's unlikely that he will ever sit on the throne again, but there is still someone waiting in the wings to, when the call comes in. Guys, where is okay? You know how people always say, "I couldn't have been a slave. I couldn't have been a slave," and I'm sure there's a lot of people who have never had a monarchy who couldn't imagine a life like that. But in ancient times, the people considered that the only way that you could have peace, I'm not talking about from war, but just so that the trains could run on time. But in ancient times there were no trains, but I'm using that as a figure of speech. But in the old days, that was the only thing people had known, is that you would always have this monarch or a czar or whatever you want to call it, a chief, a shaman, whoever, that was in charge of everything. And it made sense back in those days. But given the experiment of democracy, we know that democracy can work. And democracy is here now. Now, people claim that there's democracy. It's a monarchy, or constitutional monarchy, or whatever. Yeah, that is true. But considering the way those people got arrested the weekend just for trying to use their freedom of speech, it doesn't look like it from where I'm sitting. So, but there's always going to be monarchy, right? But whether or not they will be at the top of privilege, whether or not they will live off the taxpayers' money, I think that will go away. I couldn't see that in the next 30, 50 years that the Windsors are going to have 20 homes. Those homes need to be turned over to the government and used for wedding venues, tours, and all the other stuff without the money going back to the royal family. That's what they need to do with those. It works every place else but Britain. Every place else but Britain. Nobody has coronations like that anymore. And now that we've seen the coronation, I could understand why. It was garish, vulgar, and it looked paganistic and disturbing. I can understand why most countries don't do that anymore. It was gross to look at. It really was gross. All of that symbolism and stuff like that, it was bizarre. It was rather strange. And I'm sure that there were some very religious people that were just like, what are they doing? So thank you, Lady Bird, for your comment. I am going to give you a bell for that. All right, so I'm going to move on. There's a whole bunch of comments, so I'm going to take a big scroll through here just to make sure I don't miss anything and to get to the very last part here. Sorry, I'm not able to see more of them because I know I'm missing some good stuff. Is it Lisi D? Thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Tuesday to you. Nighty night. The government and the royals are in bed together. Don't forget the media. Don't forget the media. It's a menage a trois. You have the media, the government, and the royals. It is a menage a trois. It's a sausage fest, a sausage party. Okay, I'm going to move on. So right here, this is the last thing that I saw. This is what I was like, ooh, I got to share this with you guys. I haven't listened to it myself, but it's Dr. Shola. So I am going to just take my chances because out of all the things in this world I just love, one of them is Dr. Shola. So let us roll the dice and let's see what Dr. Shola has to say. Okay, Shola, I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you. Don't let me down.
Lots of wonderful older people who are just continuing. They've got enormous stamina. Their duty continues into their 90s.
Oh, how absolutely wonderful. What 95 jobs I'm sure we would all wish for. Listen, slimming down the monarchy as a sign of modernity is an insult to our intelligence, okay? Not only is this pale, stale, and predominantly male, right? It sends a powerful message of maintaining the hierarchical divide of class, race, wealth, and privilege. The royal family is the face of the British monarchy, an institution that symbolizes the entrenched structural inequalities that has placed British subjects in a chokehold of, peasant mentality and servitude. In fact, King Charles had the audacity to invite us, members of the public, to swear an allegiance to him when he's the one that should have been giving an oath of service to us. Look, Queen...
He did during the ceremony. He said he came to serve, not to be served.
No, but the point here...
Didn't you do it?
Hell to the freak, no. The point here is that not only are they out of touch, outdated. The point here is that I want people to understand that the days and the era of deference and reverence, which is the era of Queen Elizabeth, are totally behind us. And Queen Elizabeth could avoid scrutiny, transparency, accountability because of the deference that people held for her. Her successors are not going to benefit from the same. And you're talking about all of these people, Princess Alexandra, all of these people that apparently
There's a Duke
let me finish.
Princess of Wales.
I was listening to your joy and your excitement, and here I was trying to just
joy
your
and
passion.
excitement, not my
I was
joy and
feeling
excitement.
jack off.
2 million people were on the streets
Richard,
of London.
Listen
2 million.
You might learn something. The bottom line here is that no member of the royal family inspires, is a source of inspiration or aspiration for anybody.
The Princess
don't
of Wales.
resonate. Let me finish. Hold on.
No.
If you don't interrupt me, I'll make my point.
The world's most glamorous couple, the Princess of Wales.
The Prince and Princess of Wales is the world's most glamorous couple. That is Richard Fitzwilliams, I think. Is it Fitzwilliams? He's the one who tried to say that. Well, let me see. What was that he said about Sophie Wessex? Wait a minute. Wait. He's the one who said that. Wait. Let me find it. Here it is. It's he said Sophie Wessex boasts royals with huge success in U.S. after Meghan and Harry damage. Sophie is an exemplar of a hardworking member of the royal family with a relatively low profile. She does a great deal of good. Now, that is what he said. That was that Sophie Wessex trip to New York, where no one in the city of New York came out to cover it. She had to bring her own photographer. And of course, just like in the photo you see there, she was wearing something frumpy and dumpy. It just did not inspire much. And not to take anything away from Sophie, although I got it in for her because of that nasty look that she was giving Meghan, but I'm trying not to think about it. But yeah, she does work. I'm sure she does some good things. And you know what? I'm pretty sure that any of us in the same circumstances could have done the very least, because that's all that they're doing is the very, very least. It's not like they are inventing the wheel or anything like that. As a matter of fact, Stacey Solomon said,
I just don't get it. I don't get any of it.
What do you mean? You don't get what?
I don't get why we're so obsessed with these humans that are exactly the same. Like, it could be us four sitting there. I just don't get it.
But are you talking about what you mean
I
as
love
royals,
the Queen.
not as like Kim Kardashian? Because for me, they're becoming celebrities.
Well, yeah, to me, that's all they are.
The Queen
is their celebrity.
For me,
I love the Queen.
Brilliant.
I love the Queen.
No,
For duty, responsibility.
She's always
figurehead.
worked really hard, hasn't
I would
she?
work hard if the whole country paid for me to have like 12 houses and work really hard.
But they don't pay for all of the houses. But
Just a few.
It's 19 houses, not 12, 19. And I think I may not have gotten that right. So there you go. That was Dr. Shola doing the best and the most as usual. Thank you, Dr. Shola. S says, oh, by the way, there it is. Baron, I grew up where the Underground Railroad used to be. It was hard growing up in the 50s and getting along with the white races of that time. I could imagine. I could absolutely imagine. Um, based on some of the weird thing about it is, a lot of people growing up that, lived through that period, like my parents or my grandparents and such, they didn't really talk about it that much. I mean, on occasion, people would actually talk about it, but it was just, especially depending on the community that you live in and how much political power you have in that community as a Black person. Some places, people just like Rosewood in Florida, Rosewood, there's still people that won't talk about it. The Black Wall Street, Tulsa, when they destroyed Tulsa, there's a lot of people that did not talk about it. And so you hear things like, oh, I was in school and they mentioned it. And I'm like, no, that's my neighborhood. That didn't happen, because the older people didn't talk about it. But yeah, there is a trauma that people of African descent have experienced all over the world because of racism, because of the slave trade. There is a trauma that carries from one generation to the next. And we still haven't gotten past that, because there are repeat offenders. When someone gaslights you and try to convince you that racism doesn't exist, or racism isn't real, or, oh, he didn't mean that, that's not what happened, that ignites that old trauma. It may be something in your DNA that is rekindled because of that, or it may have been your life experience. It may have been something that happened as a child and you have suppressed it so much you don't even remember it. And then all of a sudden something happens and it's right there in front of you. You're a kid again, trying to, as you say, get along with the white racists of that time. I mean, there's a lot of people that attended those lynchings that were never arrested. They went right back to their families. There were families that it was a picnic. It was a day out for some people. They'd advertise it on the radio. We got one. Doesn't even seem real, but it's a real thing. And the pain is just beneath the surface for some people. Let's see. B10 says Greece does not have a royal castle, and there is it does have a royal castle, and there's a changing of the guard still. It's spectacular to watch. The UK can still have its castles and tourists pay to visit, thus generating revenue. That is so true, B10. Let me see, when I went to Prague, I went to the castle there in Prague, and they still have the guards at the gates and everything like that. So yeah, that doesn't go away. And Spain does have a royal family at a fraction of the cost. Most countries have a royal family at a fraction of the cost. So yeah, thank you, B10. That is a great point. Okay. All right. So again, I see there is a mountain of comments. I'm going to have to, what I do is I stop them because, I may see something I don't want to miss, but let me see. As this Didi says, that's why Blacks have been brainwashed to believe that therapy is bad, because those who caused generational trauma did not want Blacks to have good mental health. Yeah, that's something that people have been saying for a long time, is that unfortunately, a lot of Black people don't believe in therapy. Some people's families shun therapy because it always seemed like that it was something that wasn't for us. It was for other people. And that is why some people just don't go when they really should. And unfortunately, when some of these things explode in the news, because it may have been someone who was in need of an intervention that was never given to them. The intervention for some people, especially for some Black people, intervention is the county jail. The county jails are the mental wards, are the mental health facilities. And even there, all they do is medicate you. There's no, you don't get any type of therapy. Your therapy is medication. And then after that, you're released to the streets again. It is like a revolving door. But there's some facilities that say we are a mental health facility. Like half sometimes of the people in any given jail need intervention. So, wow, that's a great point. I'm going to give you a bell for that. See how much we teach each other here at Royal Sussex. That's what I love about this. We learn so much. Okay, let me let me continue. All right, so let me do this. I'm going to get this out the way, but we talked about it yesterday. The Grim Reaper of Westminster Abbey. Some people thought I was just kidding. I was not kidding. Now, I did edit the film to make it more interesting because that's what I do. But that person only crossed that threshold on camera one time. And I don't know if it's because of the lighting that it created some silhouette, but here we go. That is a real person. There is really someone who was wearing a cloak of some sort at Westminster Abbey that just happened to be caught on camera. And they don't know who that person is. Now here, I actually flipped the scene. And, I had them go back the other direction. And then the last part, I actually sped up the footage to make it a little humorous, but that really did happen. And there is no reasonable explanation for it. It looks like a hooded figure. You don't see the end of a sickle, but you definitely see some kind of handle or rod or something. I don't know. I can't tell you. I cannot tell you exactly what happened with that, but there have been people talking about it. If you Google the Grim Reaper of the Coronation or Westminster Abbey or something like that, you'll find that everybody's been talking about this. So one more time, just for fun, let's do it again. I like my favorite is speeding it up. I like speeding it up like that. So yes, you guys, I didn't just like throw something together. That is a real thing. I don't know how it happened or anything like that, but it is for real. So take it for what it's worth. Have some fun with it. And remember, there are some, what was the number? 3,000 people that are buried at the Westminster Abbey, some 3,000 people. If you ever go to Westminster Abbey, every place you look, there is some type of tomb or placard or memorial. And even in the floors, the walls, the little side chapels, there are people interred there. So they even have an area that's called the Poets' Corner because there's quite a few famous poets that are buried there. But sometimes the person is not buried there. It's just actually like a memorial plaque. But you'll see it says, "Here lies the earthly remains of so-and-so, so-and-so." Queen Elizabeth I is buried there. Well, she has a tomb, a big, huge tomb that she shares with her sister, was it her sister, or was it the other, or was it Mary, Queen of Scots? No, I think it's her sister, Queen Mary, Bloody Mary, her sister. Okay, so yeah, it is. It's a tomb, a graveyard, and you know, back in the old days, a lot of those people, a lot of those tombs or churches and such, they were actually built just to either hold relics or as a burial place for some prominent person, or both. So, okay. All right, so that is that for the Phantom of Westminster Abbey. If you guys can figure out exactly what's going on, let me see. Let me see. It didn't actually move the flag. They saw something. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, Leslie F says, Baron, on the close-up, look at the red coat soldier to the right. They jumped. It actually moved the flag over. They saw something. Okay, let's do it again, Leslie. Let's do it again. Are we really doing this? Are we really doing this? Okay. Oh, did I miss Jacqueline? Where is Jacqueline Squash? Did I miss that? Oh, got to get our prayers in. Need it right now. Squatty, what is it when I click over to give a thumbs up and then try to get back to the live chat? A statement showed up on my phone saying live chat has moved, so I had to cut off my phone to get it. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but thank you for your persistence, I guess. But yeah, I don't know what that means. Okay. All right, so I'm going to continue, guys, because I'm only on slide 7, and I've been here for like an hour already. So the new image have just appeared of Charlie's wife, and already many people are noticing the background, which is pretty messed up stuff. However, you try to spin it because a part of the whole coronation of that nonsense we've tweeted over the past week, the pic included. Okay. So we all know about the Blackamoor, right? They infantilize, or is it, yeah, infantilize Black people, especially during the period of the Regency. So there's two things going on here. Some of them are depictions of Black people. They are depictions of Africans. There are depictions of Africans as slaves. It was a big fad to give someone an African, especially a child. That was like a status symbol. There are so many paintings. There's so many paintings in all European countries, especially the ones where there was a slave trade. There are paintings where you will find this very elegant lady painted with a slave, or you will find this very elegant lady painted with a child, all dressed up in these very regal costumes. And in some cases, they were not slaves, they were free people. In some cases, they may have even been educated by the family. And in so many other cases, they were basically domestic help and or slaves. But it was a status symbol. It was like any other accoutrement that someone could have. It was a status symbol. And it was like wearing a Gucci belt or having a Fendi purse or something like that. You had this as part of your, it shows your prowess, your power, your strength. It shows that you could afford it. And so That and that's why it's so rare to find paintings of a black aristocrat. It's so rare to find a painting of a black nobleman or something like that, or noblewoman. But they did exist, but it's hard to find those. And in some cases, do you know that there's probably a lot of paintings where some very well-educated Africans that were free may have had their images painted over or cropped out of a painting. They may have made the painting smaller and removed that person. There's a famous painting of a woman who looks like she's some black noblewoman, but she's actually a remnant of a much larger painting. I mean, I could literally see it in my mind's eye. So if I thought about it, I'd have included it. But I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it. You'd be like, oh, yeah, I didn't know that was part of a much bigger painting. Yeah, it is. So, all right. So all over the properties that belong to the royal family, you are going to find these blackamoor images. So the image on the left side, that is Clarence House. They had that lamp in a public space, but reportedly it was moved. I'm not sure they have moved it, but it was said that some of the offensive stuff was moved. And as you know, when the Obamas went to go to Kensington Palace and visit with Harry, but unfortunately, because of protocol, they had to visit with Harry and William and Kate so that they can have a big, long, drawn-out, boring conversation about God knows what. Anyway, so it does exist. Now, as for those candelabras or lamps or whatever those are behind Camilla, I don't know that is blackamoor. Some of those pieces were made of bronze. I have seen some of the bronze pieces. They have very Anglo features, but they're made of bronze. I couldn't really make out the details of those enough to say that it was one or the other. So where that's concerned, I really don't know. But the truth is, they do have that stuff. And there is a very good chance that that's exactly what it is. It may or it may not be. But I want to say something else that is rather interesting about this. They fell all over themselves to try to make sure that we didn't think that they were that kind of family. And so they quickly put the information out. No, those aren't blackamoor. Those aren't blackamoor. That same energy could have gone into, she didn't make Kate cry. She didn't make Kate cry. But instead, they didn't do that. As a matter of fact, to make things worse, as soon as they were planning to, actually, as soon as they got word of the Oprah interview, then all of a sudden, they started the Meghan is a bully. Meghan is a narcissist. Meghan is bully. You almost don't even hear it anymore now. But that was, the big talking point. And the press ran with it. And that information either came from Clarence House or Kensington Palace or both. They didn't care enough about Harry to not try to destroy his wife. They don't care enough about Harry to not try to destroy him. So I guess the point I'm making, whether that is or is not blackamoor, I really don't care. Given the history of that family, there was no public, word from the royal family when Princess Michael of Kent wore that blackamoor brooch. She gave some little two-bit acknowledgement. It may have even been an apology, but then she said she had it for years and she just happened to put it on that day. Yes, you just happened to put it on that day. And by the way, she's not a dumb person. She's a very well-educated person who actually had a business as an interior designer before she hit the jackpot and married into the Windsor family. Her father, she's of nobility herself. Her father, Princess Michael of Kent's father, was a Nazi. And then she says, oh, we didn't know he was a Nazi, even though they have a uniform on him and a picture of him in the uniform. They didn't know that. That was just, oh my goodness, when did that happen? So you would not have to go too far into a royal household to find blackamoor anything. It's everywhere among the aristocracy. Do you guys remember the hotel that Doria and Meghan were staying at? It was a country estate that was turned into a hotel, and that is where they stayed before the wedding. Well, that hotel removed a couple of blackamoor statues. They removed those statues, and they said, oh, well, we removed them because they needed restoration. And it was the Daily Mail that actually ran an article about the blackamoor statues. And so they said they moved the statues because of restoration, or was it because you got the full court press bearing down on your hotel, and it would have been incredibly embarrassing to see those statues at one of the entrances to the hotel. There was a pair of them. So I really don't care if they are blackamoor, if they aren't blackamoor. I don't care about those individually, but in terms of the entire property portfolio of the Saxe-Coburg, what is it? Saxe-Coburg, Gotha, Goatee, whatever family. If you look at the entire portfolio, you're going to find that there's blackamoor here, there, and everywhere. There's more Black people depicted in artwork and antiquity than there is living people working in the homes. It's just a thing. And it doesn't stop with Black people. There's also, like, you know, that room that they're in before they come outside for the balcony? I think that's some kind of a tea room that's filled with the, what do they call that Asian, like art and stuff like that they have. It's a whole monument to Asian people. Pretty much anybody that they've conquered, they got artwork depicting those people. So that is what's going on. So I don't care about those individually. I'm saying that you can make a fuss about that if you want to, but they got plenty stuff just like that all over those houses. Plenty. And I do mean plenty. And it ain't going nowhere. They have you guys, listen. Harry was living in that little dumpy Nottingham cottage while William and Kate had that huge apartment, right? They didn't buy any furniture. The furniture that they have comes out of the royal collection. They have furniture warehoused. They itemize and catalog every piece of furniture, every painting, everything in those houses. They have the bill of sales for it. They have the bill of sales for it. So all of that stuff is accounted for. They know what they have. It is named, accredited, counted for, and they have the bill of sales for it. It ain't going nowhere. All they'll do is move one thing from one place to the other, or you can try to be clever like the Cambridges did and just put a lamp in front of it. Yeah, put a lamp in front of it. Like nobody is going to notice that you got a lamp in the middle of a painting. That is the height of intelligence. I told you they're the smartest people in the world. God's Child says, royal family supported because Brits are proud to be called lords and dames. Love to rub shoulders with the royal family. Boast we are the best at pomp and pageantry, despite royal family flaunting stolen diamonds and taking from hungry Brits. Yeah, well, God's Child, they starved the Irish. They starved the India. They were the biggest slave traders. So, given that, of course, the aristocrats who live in these country estates that have been built and furnished because of their work, or not work, but their investment in the slave trade. Wow. And you guys, this is also a thing. It's already, you could already say, oh, wow, it's such a shame that people are going hungry in Britain. It ain't the first time. It is not the first time. If you look at any of those documentaries about how the industrial revolution in Britain, if you look at anything about that, you'll find out, number one, they didn't care about kids. Kids were expendable. If you were not born into an aristocratic family as a child, they would stunt your growth with labor. They didn't care about kids. They didn't care about the workers. You know, the big difference is, of course, the peasants. The peasants in Britain were free. They could come and go as they wanted to. But that only meant that you would go hungry. Most people, you know, a middle class person in those days was pretty well off in comparison. The working class people, not so much. You either went into service, or you were in the Navy or the military. And if you were lucky, you could have some type of trade or something that you could earn a decent living. But the most common laborer, life was pretty dismal. Life expectancy was low. And there was no outrage amongst the aristocrats to help anybody but themselves. So it's really of no surprise. And that's why it comes so easy for Americans of wealth from the old families in the US. Where do you think they get it from? It's so easy for them to watch you struggle while they go and buy another house, or while they take a grand tour of Europe. It's so easy for them to watch people struggle. They're used to it. It's just the way it is. Somebody's got to help those people, but it won't be us. It won't be us. We are here to enrich ourselves. We're not helping anybody. And that's just how life is for a lot of those well-to-do people. They have generational wealth and they don't share it with anybody. They'll build a museum faster than they'll feed someone, because the museum, they can write it off for their taxes, and it's a way to immortalize themselves with their naming. So, okay, I'm going to move on. But yeah, so that's how I feel about the Blackamoor. Thank you so much, Godchild, for your super chat. But it is of no surprise. They have plenty stuff like that, and they're not going to throw it away. They're not going to sell it. They're just going to warehouse it with everything else. I mean, don't you ask yourself, what happened to all the Queen's old clothes? What happens to the Queen's old clothes? I don't think they sell them, do they? I wonder how many clothes do they have that are warehoused that belong to the Queen? Ponder that. If anybody knows what happened to the Queen's old clothes, please say so in the comments, because I'm just trying to figure out, what did they do with all of those little pillbox hats, all those square blocky heel shoes, all of those identical handbags? What happened to that stuff? It certainly didn't go to the car boot sale. Where is it? Okay, so that's that about the Blackamoor. I'm going to move on. Thank you, VS. Now, that's one thing that I didn't think about, is how much of that stuff. Well, I think you just answered the question, because I bet you Paul Burrell walks around in the Queen's square blocky heel shoes and pillbox hats. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. Now, if Angela Kelly has an estate sale, I would go to that. I would go to that. I'm sure that there are some bargains to have been found there. Who knows how much Angela Kelly may have been gifted by the Queen? Wink, wink. Okay, let me see. And you get a bell for that, VS. And you're making it rain, 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 rain on me. Okay, I got to shake a tail feather. I'm getting too far behind. King Charles' silly coronation concert was a monarchist fever dream. Was it really? Of course not. They are trolling the royal family. Featuring Katy Perry, the Muppets, Tom Cruise, and Lionel Richie. The festivities celebrating King Charles and Queen Camilla were downright bizarre. Of course they were. They said that it just seemed like they cobbled together a bunch of second-rate acts. Now, you guys, I hate to tell you this. Lionel Richie was awful. Now, I didn't watch the concert, but when I read about how awful he was, I had to go and see it. And, okay, let me tell you how bad he was. Do you remember how sometimes when Aretha Franklin was not in her greatest voice, and she would do, yeah, yeah, all right, yeah, ha. Well, that's what he was doing. I kid you not, that's what he was doing. It was a lot of, yeah, yeah. Now, when all you got for a high note is, yeah, you probably shouldn't be up on that stage. It was awful. He did more yeahs and yeses than he did singing. That's how bad it was. I couldn't believe it. I mean, he wasn't ever the strongest singer in the world anyway. And let me say this too. How much work does it take to do that little country twang? I mean, let's face it, Lionel Richie sings with a little bit of a country twang. He has a very country twangy voice. Not the strongest voice, but just the same. Oh my goodness. The British Museum has what? Wow. Okay. I believe it though. I believe it. But yeah, so it was awful. It was awful. It was awful. I'm telling you, it was so bad. If you think you're really going, they drowned him out with the music, which was wise to do because he was terrible, absolutely terrible. That was the worst performance that I've ever seen. It was terrible. It was awful. I was embarrassed for him. But how about him and Charles are the same age? Can we talk about that? How about him and Charles are the same age? So Richie and Perry were part of the deal in return for the king and queen something cameo appearance on American Idol. British press are calling this sorry. British press are calling this a surprise cameo because it's an obvious pre-planned arrangement, which somehow feels like a bad deal for everyone. Yeah, it was a bad deal because it was like somebody took a couple of waxworks figures and put them in between two people that probably couldn't do a tour on their own to save their lives. The best place for Katy Perry and Lionel Richie is judging American Idol. Lionel Richie ain't got it no more. I'm just telling you. You guys would be so disappointed. And it's not like he had just flown in that day. He had a chance to rest, right? And they said that Katy Perry stayed at the Windsor Castle. I suppose Lionel Richie stayed there as well. It was awful. Yeah! Yeah! All right! Yeah! That's why I'm easy. Yes! Yes! Easy like Sunday morning. I mean, it was like he was talking through the song. I'm like, how could you? It's not like he was the strongest singer in the first place. He has a nice voice. He plays the piano. He writes music. You know, all around, he's a very capable person. He's capable of a lot of things except for singing. He can't sing no more. It was awful. Yes. Ha. Oh man. I'm sorry guys to tell you this, but it was awful. It was the stuff of nightmares. And everybody just singing and swaying. And I'm glad the crowd was singing. Somebody had to sing. Somebody had to sing. It certainly wasn't Lionel Richie. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't. It's not like he ever put such a strain on himself when he was young. You know what I'm saying? So how could you could, I mean, it was awful. Anyway, that was that for, well, actually, am I through with that? Let me see what yeah, I think that was it for now. I'm going to come back to Katy Perry, though. I'm going to come back to her, I believe. Oh, he wants to be an OBE? Does he have to be a citizen for that or no? Or they can just give it to you? I don't know. Let me see here. God's Child says, Baron is cracking me up with Lionel Richie. Yes! Hi, y'all. Sorry, I accidentally clicked unsubscribe. Shall rejoin soon. Much love. Oh, God's Child, I'm sorry that happened. But thank you for watching Royal Sussex. I'll try to fix that later if I can. I'll try to remember. Somebody might remind me, but I'll try to fix that for you later. Let me see here. Okay, so let's go here. I think I'm done with that for now. Oh, wait a minute. In 1984, I went to see Lionel Richie at the Forum, and Tina Turner was the opening act. Tina was fabulous. Lionel Richie was a huge disappointment. He sang for 1 hour and left the stage. Oh, no. Well, Dorothy Ross, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Yes! Yes! Sheila Clemens McKay, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Tuesday to you. So take a look at your screen. There is Camilla, that graceful wayfishly thin, elegant, tall statuette. I'm just kidding. There's that big sloppy mess emerging from a carriage with all the grace of a hippo in roller skates. I've seen hippopotamus on roller skates that were more graceful. I've seen a blindfolded pig walk through a china shop that was more graceful. Right? I've seen an elephant crawl through a dumpster with more grace. Oh, man. I've seen a bear smash into a car window at Yellowstone National Park with more grace than Camilla had emerging from that carriage. I mean, it was like watching something shed its skin, right? You ever see like how someone films the like a lobster or a crab or something? They have what they call an exoskeletal frame. In other words, the shell is their skeleton on the outside of their body. Well, that's what it was like watching Camilla emerge from that beautiful, ornate carriage. It was like watching something shedding its skin. I had never seen anything like it. It shook, it rocked, it rolled, and then suddenly, oh, don't stand there, you bloody fool. Help me out of this thing. So all of a sudden, there's Camilla. She plants that big, gigantic foot of hers on the wet pavement, and then she commenced the walking. But it wasn't really a walk as much as it was like the strut. Like it was like watching a truck driver or a lorry driver that has been sitting for hours emerge from their vehicle and, you know, try to get the feeling back in their backside or whatever. That was Camilla. It was something to see, I tell you. I had never seen anything like it in my life. It was as graceful as a I think I'm running out of adjectives, but but you get my point. It was a mess. So anyway, as she's walking, she's pulling them poor children, just pulling those poor children along. Her sister, Mrs. Doubtfire, can't keep up with her. The largest woman that I've ever seen at any royal event. She cannot, I mean, she's so tall, isn't she? She couldn't keep up with her. And then you have the other optic. I told you, they all look like they entered a Penny Marshall lookalike contest. Everybody's hair looks like Penny Marshall. Not young Penny Marshall. Penny Marshall was kind of cute when she was young, but old chain smoking Penny Marshall. Old party Penny Marshall. That's what they all look like. I tell you what, she wasn't going to let anybody outdo her, that's for sure. She made it a point to make sure that nobody else had a tiara except for her. Well, a crown in her case. She made sure that everybody wore white. I don't know. It all, whatever she was trying to achieve, it didn't work, because I believe that Maggie Smith said it best in Sister Act. You're a conspicuous woman designed to stick out. Do you guys remember that from Sister Act? You're a wait. You're a conspicuous woman designed to stick out. And that's what she was, a very conspicuous woman designed to stick out. And stick out she did. So it was hard to watch. It really was. It lacked all the grace, all the elegance that you would expect from such an event. Instead, it was like some old pensioner that just got out of a women's prison that has worn heels for the first time in 50 years. And there she was, strutting along. No grace, no elegance, just a mess. Oh man, I'm telling you, it was one for the record books. That's what it was. It was one for the record books. But oh well. So she showed up. Let's say that. Let me see. Is that Aquarius Cool? Thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Like a pigeon in tap shoes. Maybe that's the one I'm looking for. It's kind of like watching a pigeon in tap shoes. What? It was like watching her walk into Westminster Abbey was like watching a pigeon in tap shoes. Could you imagine that? I would love to see her in tap shoes. Well, you know what? I've already seen it, haven't I? I've already seen it. Okay, so if you look right here, I think this is the reason why she was struggling. As you can see, she wasn't wearing the proper shoes. Now, you know, it's very dangerous to put your foot in the wrong shoe. And that is not, by the way, Aquarius, thank you so much for the super sticker. If you're not wearing the proper shoe, of course, it's going to be very difficult to plant your foot properly on wet pavement. So if I can't help but think that if she would have worn the proper shoe, then she would have been able to manage her procession in a more elegant manner. Instead of wobbling all over the place, she should have put the right shoes on. All of this could have been avoided had she put on a proper shoe. But instead, maybe she thought wearing Spanx was going to... I do think she's wearing Spanx, though. I do think she's wearing Spanx. I'm pretty sure that for most of the ceremony, she probably was suffering from an enormous wedgie and just could not really deal with it. You know what I mean? So anyway, so there you have it. Those are the stars of the coronation. Charles had his part, Camilla. Now, you know, guys, William's role was actually an abbreviation. Several other people were supposed to come up and touch the crown and kiss Charles on the cheek, but they abbreviated that part of it, just like putting on the coronation ring. Charles didn't put it on. They were wondering, how are we going to get this ring over them big fat sausage fingers? They didn't try to put the ring on. They didn't put the spurs on. They didn't put the cuffs on. Instead, all he did was touch it. So that was part of the ceremony that was omitted for whatever reason. The ring, I get that. The other ones, I don't know. So, and then there's this situation. Apparently, Charles, you know what? I thought this image was Westminster. I'm sorry. I thought this was Buckingham Palace. I didn't realize that they were. Let me see. Let me take a look at that again. Let me take a look at that again before I say for sure.
But they're having a bit of discussion here. I am wondering whether Prince and Princess of Wales' arms, they were due to arrive before the King and Queen, but maybe they took a different entrance.
Yeah, so when he was sitting up there having a meltdown, they were actually at Westminster Abbey waiting for the Cambridges or the Waleses now. They were literally sitting there waiting for them. And the Daily Fail has reported that the reason why they weren't there on time was because of the kids. They're saying that Omid Scobie said that. I don't think it was the kids. They may try to blame the kids, but you guys know that they have made some videos. They made a video at the concert. Imagine that. Wouldn't they have a fit if remember how they said that the Sussexes were going to bring a film crew to the Jubilee? Well, they had a film crew for the coronation, and they had a film crew for the concert that followed them around. And you got William moving in slow motion and getting up there to give his speech where he snubbed his stepmother. All of that is supposed to be some slick campaign so that he can position himself for the day he becomes king. That is, I'm not making this up. They have a promotional video that Will and Kate made with their children, and they were making that video on their way to the coronation. And I believe that's why they were late. It wasn't because the kids, it was because they was trying to figure out what Kate's good side was. And you know, sometimes you think you got it and you don't. I mean, could you imagine? Okay, no, not that. Nope, not that. That's what they were doing. They was trying to or maybe they gave her some lines to run in the video, and that's what held them up. I mean, I don't see why. Kate is perfectly capable of speaking into a camera. What could have possibly gone wrong? But maybe that's what it was. Maybe they gave her some lines to recite, and therein lies the trouble.
Obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, to this day, and you know, going forward and things. You know, it is. You know, it's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and you know, very inspirational. So, yeah, I do.
Cut. Cut. That's probably what happened. As soon as they heard that, they were like, cut. Yeah, love. We don't need the lines cut. That's probably what happened. She probably started doing her Kate routine and somebody yelled, cut. Oh man, Corliss, is it Lavelle? Lavelle, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Tuesday to you. And Jacqueline Davies, thank you for the super sticker, and happy Tuesday to you too. Thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciate it. Cut. All right, so here, now there has been a great deal of controversy about this one. The unsung heroine of the royal family, Queen Elizabeth II's first cousin, Lady Ogilvy, 86, who was late monarch's bridemaid in 1947. Wedding featuring features in official portraits to mark King Charles' coronation. Oh, is it because it wasn't enough people available? There wasn't enough senior royals in the slim down monarchy to put in the photos. So you had to go to the retirement village. You had to go down to the local retirement facility to find Lady Oglesby. Is that what happened? Is that Lady Oglesby, or is that some pensioner who don't even know what she's doing there? Is that really Lady Oglesby? Because she looks just as surprised as the next person that she's there. As a matter of fact, they probably sent Ford Escape, who used to be Ford Fiesta. They probably sent Ford Escape to go and get her and Uncle Pennywise. And so anyway, that may or may not be Lady Oglesby. So let's see. It says Princess Alexandra has quietly attended thousands of royal engagements for more than 6 decades. She was so quiet, I don't know if I've ever seen her before. She is the late Queen's cousin, one of her closest friends, and was dubbed the unsung heroine of the royal family. I love the way they come up with some kind of new title. I'm surprised they didn't say secret weapon, because let me see. Camilla is the royal family secret weapon. Kate is the royal family secret weapon. And let me see. Now Lady Oglesby is the royal family secret weapon. They got so many secret weapons. It's a wonder that there was anybody else that they could have put into the photo, because they got all these secret weapons, right? So anyway, the other theory that I have, or was she? Phyllis Johnson says she was on the balcony. The other theory that I have, maybe it's something wrong with her arms. Maybe it's something wrong with her arms. I thought, well, maybe her and the Queen are lifting their dresses up, but maybe her arms are stuck like that and the Queen is making fun of her. You think? I'm just saying, I'm just asking for a friend. Maybe her arms have been stuck like that. And so instead of them holding her arms up, they actually are just doing that so that you would think that her arms are normal. But maybe her arms are stuck like that. Maybe all those years of lifting up gold forks and gold spoons and leaded crystal wine glasses have ruined her arms. So maybe her arms are stuck like that and the Queen is just making fun of her. I mean, after all, the Queen did tell that joke about the guy coming into her office looking like what did they say, an ape or something like that. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe her arms are stuck like that. Poor lady. And that's something. They went down to a nursing home or retirement community and found some poor pensioner with bad arms and had her dress up and come to the coronation, because they don't have enough senior royals, right? Because of King Charles' slim down monarchy. I tell you, if I hear slim down monarchy one more time, and just when you thought things couldn't get worse, Meet the new firm. Why in the world would y'all go and dig in the back of your closets and come out with that? Now, I guess they said for the sake of solidarity and also for the sake of modesty, we'll repeat something that we've worn before. It didn't work the first time. And if it didn't work the first time, why in the world would you go and get that little house on the prairie get up and put it on again to greet decent people that don't even know you? So that's why I say, God save the people of Britain. That's my quote right there. God save the people of Britain, because this is what they got to look forward to. Kate and Sophie lead first day of Slim Down Monarchy as royals host Buckingham Palace garden party for King Charles. Oh my goodness. It hasn't come to this, because every time I go down by the rail station, I always see people dressed up in them same outfits. And I don't have anything against those people, but these are so. Didn't someone just say that that this is the glamorous royal family? Isn't that what he just said? That Kate and William are the glamorous super couple and all that kind of stuff. And I don't see it here. Not where I'm looking. To me, they are the same usual old frumpy handmaid's tale princesses that they've always been. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. Don't worry about it. And then, of course, Kate's checklist. Find a black person to take a picture with. Check. Have a conversation. Use your hands a lot, right? Talk with hands. Check. Oh, wait a minute. There you go. Oh, you still can't see it. See? Oh, no wonder. The check is over here. The check moved. Anyway, so check and check. Reach out and touch somebody black and make sure that the cameras see that. Reach out and touch somebody black and make sure all the cameras see that. And that's what she did. She reached out and touched somebody black. I tell you, they probably cleared a lane so that she was like, wait, is that a black person? They probably cleared the lane to make sure that she didn't miss her. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, as the song says, reach out and touch somebody black and make sure all the cameras see that. So that's what she did. She reached out and touched somebody black. And of course, this is a quote from someone in the Sussex squad. Katy Perry looking for her relevancy in the music industry in 2023. You know what? Sometimes I have to say, sometimes the squad can be particularly prickly when they want to. And that is quite a prickly comment, even for me. But yeah, Katy Perry looking for her relevancy in the music industry in 2023. You got to love it. Oh, man. I wonder if they had like beverages in her accommodations at Windsor Castle. It looked like they must, this is what I'm talking about. Maybe they had free beverages available. You know how sometimes you go to like a hotel and at a resort and they have like the wine and dispenser and they have like the whiskey and gin and stuff. I wonder if they had something like that in her boudoir at Windsor Castle. Not to say that I think she drinks, but I'm just saying I wonder if they had that, because she seemed to have lost her way at the Windsor Castle. That's easy to do. And of course, even getting to the ceremony, the coronation, seemed to be a bit of an effort. So looks like she has found herself in a spot of bother. But you guys, one of the reasons why the squad has been very side eye with her is because of that comment right there. Wrong. The dress hung beautifully. Any tighter, and it would have lost. The elegance would have gone out of the window. I disagree. And Katy Perry says Megan's wedding dress should have. Wait. Kate, let me pull that down so I can see it clearly. Okay. Wrong. The dress hung beautifully. Any tighter, the elegance would have gone out the window. And Katie says, I disagree. Katy Perry says Meghan Markle's wedding dress should have had one more fitting. Katy Perry slams Meghan's wedding dress, says Kate won. Oh, okay, so I guess her she said Kate's dress was better. Kate won, whatever. I don't care. I don't really keep up with Katy Perry, or should I say Katy Perry or Katy Petty, whatever her name is. I don't keep up with her. Anyway, let me see what's up next. So this is one of those very interesting artworks from Cold War Steve. Cold War Steve reimagined some very classical images from history and some very contemporary images. And so here you have Rishi Sunak. Is that supposed to be the Duke of York, Prince Andrew? And of course, that is Suella Braverman. I don't know who that is on the wall. But anyway, that is one of the latest from Cold War Steve. I love his work. And then, of course, it's a bloodbath on the royal family's Instagram page. Over 12,000 comments on Camilla's pic saying, saying, not my queen, and writing about Diana. Seriously, wow. Yeah, that is true. I did go to their Instagram, and they are slamming. If you guys have Instagram, make sure you go over there. I'm not saying that you should write anything disparaging or mean-spirited, and definitely not threatening or cruel or personal. But if you go over there, do have a read of some of the comments. They are très magnifique. Yes, those comments are, hey, Mo Shannon, those comments are, they are just, they're tasteless, crude, and mean-spirited. I love it. And as soon as I get off of this thing, I'm going right back over there. But no, I'm just saying, people are speaking their minds in a public forum. Oh, there goes Lorraine. Lorraine is probably wondering whatever happened to Russell Myers' other ear. Russell Myers, tell me, Russell Myers, do you have another ear? Because I can only ever see one of your ears. Russell Myers. That is, of course, Lorraine, who talks like she's one of the extras from the Hansel and Gretel movie. But anyway, Lorraine, actually, you see it up there, right? Did Lorraine call Prince Louis the family clown on TV? This is disgusting. Children are off limits. You guys, she went there. She went there. She was thinking it. Now, it doesn't, her tone was not as cruel. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to play the whole thing, but I'm going to play part of it. Reach out and touch somebody black and make sure that the cameras see that. Yes! Yeah! Reach out and touch somebody black and make sure all the cameras see that. Okay, I'm looking for it. Wait a minute, where is it? I thought I bookmarked it. I guess I didn't. Oh, Lord, you mean to tell me I don't have it? Oh, I got to find it. I got to find Lorraine. Sorry, you guys. I don't know what I did with Lorraine. Hello, Russell Myers. Russell Myers is here. Russell Myers. Russell Myers, Whatever happened to your other ear, Aristemias? Oh, it shouldn't be too hard to find it because, oh, there it is. You know what? I did not bookmark it. Okay, so now that I have it, I am going to play it for you guys. Lorraine refers to this child as what you see right there. Okay, Aristemias, hold on while I call a royal child a clown. I'm going to refer to him as a clown. Not a clown, but a clown. Let me see here.
Interesting at the weekend, the ghostwriter of the book, Spare, which caused all the problems in the first place, he's been talking out an interesting.
Oh, wait a minute, that's not it. Oh Lord. Don't worry, you guys. I will find it. Because one of the squatties saved that receipt. And I'm just going to go through her feed. Oh man, I tell you, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be so lucky most days to have the information. So I'm going to have to trust that it's there. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Well, I'm not finding it. I'm going to keep looking. But, you know, maybe they took it down. Maybe that's why I don't have it. Oh, maybe that's, remember I told you guys, some of that stuff, they have been taking it off of the Twitter. Let me try this one. Yes, I think it's gone. They ripped it off the Twitter. I don't think it's there anymore. I wonder if it's still on her show. Ain't that a, you know what? I knew I saved it. It's not even there anymore. Oh, wow. Huh. Well, you guys, I thought I saved it and it's not there. S, thank you so much for the super sticker. Let me try one more thing. And if I can't find it, I'm just going to move on. But I want you to hear it from her mouth to your ear. It was shade. Okay, let me try one more time. Okay. Oh, okay. I think this is going to work. If it's not here, then I know it's gone. Yep, if it's not here, they have lifted it off of here. Things that are embarrassing to the royal family are quickly removed. And I think this is one of them. Yep, I think it is gone. Oh, well, you guys. But yes, she was not like, I will say that she wasn't absolutely crude in her tone, but she said that, like it or not, he's going to have to get used to the fact that he is the clown, that he's the clown. And they took it off of the Twitter. Oh, I tell you, the invisible contract is real. The invisible contract is real because it is not there anymore. Wow. They took it. It's gone, you guys. But she definitely referred to this child as being labeled the clown. I heard it myself. So let me go back and take a look at a couple of your comments before I continue. Let me see. So S, thank you again for the super chat. And Andrew Bodie, thank you for the super chat. And let me see here. Okay, you guys, it is gone. They took it away. I cannot believe that. I did not record it, but I did save it. I saved it. I bookmarked it. So, you know, that it's like I always say, you guys, save your receipts. I have to make sure that I start doing that, recording them, because otherwise, that's what happens is you run the risk of them hiding stuff like that. And Lorraine is a real royalist. She is a real royalist. So the fact that it's not there is probably because people reported it. Just like when I used to do the mute woman, I never recorded it because I just assumed it would be there. Gone, 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 gone. Okay, so I'm going to move on. Thank you guys for your patience. Sorry that I did not save it like that. Harry's ghostwriter hints TK Maxx links with King Charles led to attempt to discredit book. Well, if you guys have read or listened to that article from the New Yorker, not the New York, but the New Yorker, if you go to the community tab there, you could actually bring up the article and then listen to the audio. It is a lengthy article, but it mentions about the TK Maxx. And so what is so interesting about the ghostwriter, Moringer, was so interesting is that he actually had the opportunity to experience life as Harry has, not as severe, not as cruel, but he experienced some of the essence of what has been Harry's life for the past, 38 years? Because he has been stalked by the tabloid media. He's had his family and friends harassed by the tabloid media. As a matter of fact, he did not want his name out there, at least not at the time that his name was released to the tabloid media. But when his name was released, then all of a sudden, life became very difficult for him. So, you know, and so when he told Harry about some of the experiences that he was having, Harry told him, "Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. This is my life. You know, this brief intermission that you're going through, where you can't go to the store without being harassed, where you can't do anything without being harassed." Harry told him, "This is my life. Welcome to my life." So very interesting. Oh, you guys, I'm talking and I'm still looking. I cannot believe it's gone. Huh. Oh, I got to go back and look at that. Oh, you guys, it is a feeding frenzy on the interweb. And I am here for it. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next thing. Thank you so much. There is 1,900 people here. Please make sure you hit that like button. Some of you guys may watch on television and you don't actually have your smart device in hand. Well, please go and find it and hit that like button. And also subscribe. Those of you that are unsubscribed, Harry put me in the guest house where Megan and Archie would visit me on their afternoon walks. Megan, knowing I was missing my family, was forever bringing trays of food and sweets. Meg is such a warm hostess. Also, afternoon walks with Archie. So Moringer was actually staying in the guest house at the stately, palatial, opulent, picturesque Sussex manor. Some of the book was written online. Well, not online, but through Zoom. But, you know, with the lockdown and everything, it became very obvious that they needed to spend more time. So Harry has considered him part of his family now. Harry has opened up to him in ways that he hasn't been able to open up to most people. And through their long, heated conversations and friendly banter, they were able to somehow come up with the book Spare. And yes, there was over 800 pages, but they edited the book down to about 400 pages, a little over 400 pages. So we'll be wondering, will we ever find that other stuff? But anyway, I think after the Queen died, there was an edit. So, well, no, we'll probably get that at another time. I don't want Harry to give us anything that is not necessary, just for their own health and well-being, their own safety, their own what do you call it? Their mental health. Whatever you need to hold back, hold it back. So anyway, that is a couple of images from the docuseries, not those other pictures of Meghan out walking. Oh, when I saw those photos, and of course, I'm not going to share those here, but it just made my heart sink, because all I could think about was the time when they took those photos of her out walking with Archie, and that made me sick on the stomach. I don't have the stomach for that. So, yeah, it's too creepy and it's too invasive, and I hate it. Yeah, they have a guest house. They do have a guest house and a tea room. Don't forget the tea room, and probably a pool house too. Okay, now this is Colleen Nolan. I am a royalist. Throughout the week, and I felt really uncomfortable. That's because of the state we are all, in fact, and the fact that, wait a minute, because of the state we are all in fact, okay, let me just play it. I had it, I lost it, I'll just play it. I have a sound bite for that. So let me get the sound bite. Otherwise, we'll be here all week. The state, we ain't got all night for that. So let me just do this. Because the state, the fact, the state, actually the state, the fact, the state, the fact. No, we ain't got time for that. So I'm going to just play it for you.
I am a royalist, and I've always loved the weddings and all. Whenever people have gone about, they're a waste of time and it's a waste of money, and I've always been very much like, it's amazing and it's history and everyone's celebrating. But actually, through the whole thing this weekend, I felt really uncomfortable, I have to say. And that's because of the state that we're all in, and the economy, and the fact that people are struggling to eat. And it was the first time I watched it, and I watched all the pomp and circumstance, and it was fantastically done, It was. But it was fantastic spectacle. But I sat there and thought, like, for instance, this weekend, very sadly, two of my relatives ended up in A&E on separate occasions. One of whom is still in just a cubicle because there's still no bed. That's 24 hours later. My sister, who is, as we know, very ill, she had to go to hospital and was in A&E for 20 hours before anyone saw her. And of course, then I'm watching this spectacle going, it's all very well saying it brought 300 odd million in for that sector. Can we please bring that in for the NHS? Because it's done. And it's not just the NHS that's dying. The people are dying because the NHS is it's broken right now. So it was the first time I watched something of which we do it the best, I think, in this country, like big events like that and the concert. But I sat there and I thought, someone told me it was the equivalent of us all giving, so 66 million of us in this country or something. It was like us all giving £5 towards it. So on the grand scheme of things, you think, oh, it's only £5. But it's £5 we weren't asked, did we want to give? And if we were going to give it, maybe 66 million of us should have given it to the NHS, because we'd have had a choice. And I just think it could have been done. I know it's supposedly that he cut it down massively. Instead of 8,000 people, there was 2,000. To me, it should have almost been behind closed doors and he comes out on the balcony as king so we can all see him. But we don't need all that money.
So,
I am a royalist and I've always loved the weddings and all whenever.
Okay, so it was just repeating. Now, you guys, I found another source of the Lorraine show with Russell Myers. Russell One Ear Myers. There's the Lorraine show with One Ear Russell Myers. I don't know why I am so preoccupied with Russell Myers' missing ear. He has two ears, but you could only see one of them for some reason. So maybe I shouldn't bring attention to Russell Myers with the one. because he only has the one. Oh, I got to stop doing that. That's not nice. But I do love to hear her say Russell Myers. I think that is so funny. Okay, so now we're back with Russell Myers. Hello, Russell Myers. Oh man. Okay, so let me see if I can find it.
That it is this, you know, they've been turned into this sort of pantomime villain couple, and I'm sure there's nothing further from the truth.
No, it's that thing, isn't it? Everybody gets their assigned roles. Like we were talking about little Prince Louis earlier on. He's now, whether he likes it or not, he's the family kind of clown, and I mean that in this sort of, don't mean that a clown is an idiot. I mean, that's where it's used, but he's kind of like the cheeky chappy, and he's going to have that round his neck for the rest of his life probably, which is a great shame. You know, when you think about it, you're assigned a role, and that's what you play. What do you think?
I think Louis will have time to make his mark in other ways. I don't think he's going to be the court jester. Don't worry, he's fine.
No. Do you think he's going to be all right? Because that's the kind of thing. And this was good yesterday to see them all out in a.
My immediate thought actually was that doesn't surprise me. You know, Meghan is portrayed as this Machiavellian sort of evil, bad fairy. But I'm not surprised to hear that report that that's not true. That it is this. You know, they've been turned into this sort of pantomime villain couple, and I'm sure there's nothing further from the truth.
No, it's that thing, isn't it? Everybody gets their assigned roles. Like we were talking about little Prince Louis earlier on. He's now, whether he likes it or not, he's the family kind of clown, and I mean that in this sort of, don't mean that a clown is an idiot. I mean, that's where it's used, but he's kind of like the cheeky chappy, and he's going to have that round his neck for the rest of his life probably, which is a great shame. You know, when you think about it, you're assigned a role, and that's what you play. What do you think?
I think Louis will have time to make his mark in other ways. I don't think he's going to.
Now, I think that's Roy Anika in the yellow. I think that's Roy Anika. But like I said, she didn't say it in the worst possible tone, but she said it. And I don't disagree with her that there has been a role that has been assigned, and that is going to stay with him for the rest of his life. Every time I heard them mention, like when they were on the balcony, every time they showed Louis and they said, oh, there he goes. Louis got the whole crowd. Every time I saw that, I felt horrible. I felt so bad for Louis. And it is exactly what Harry said. I feel bad for Louis, but it confirms everything Harry said about them assigning a role, a characterization of who you are and what part you play in this pantomime, as they just said. That's exactly how it is. That's exactly how it works. So she said what everybody else is probably thinking. So, like it or not, that is the way that the royal rotor, the royal reporters, the tabloid media, they assign a role. Just like with Harry, just like with Margaret, just like with Andrew. They always assign a role for people. But with the Queen, with Charles, and of course with William, they have to be above the fray. They're not allowed to be found wanting in their character. And so if it requires throwing someone else under the bus in the family, then that's exactly what they do. I've even heard Charles Spencer say that the press had even told him that this is your story, and either you're going to help us write it or we'll write it without you. Now, I don't remember. Does anybody else remember Charles Spencer saying that in a documentary, that the media had assigned a role for him and that they had told him either you help us write the story or we will write it without you? I promise you, I remember hearing that, and I don't recall which documentary it was. And you know, you guys, I'm not a fan of Charles Spencer because I think he made some terrible mistakes with his sister. But that is what he said. He said that they assigned a role for me, and that is the way they were going to write the story, with or without me. And that, of course, was when, you know, Diana first was known about as a potential bride for Charles. That was when they told him, this is who you are, and this is how you're going to fit into this, whether you like it or not. This is your role. So this is something I wanted to show you guys, and we're almost done, you guys. So I'm going to wrap it up very soon. But behind the big purple square, that is the image that is one of the dozens of images that they released of Meghan outside walking. That is not what I wanted to focus on. You see all four of these photos? There's actually a whole line of photos. This is the male royal reel. The Daily Mail has a TikTok account and probably has a Shorts account. And this is how they intend to, by the way, Isabella, thank you so much for the kind words. They intend to infiltrate the spaces where the young people are actually making a difference when it comes to telling the truth about that institution. That is why they're here. They're not only there for the money, but they're there to win. This is part of their plan to control the message, and not just with Harry and Meghan's thing, but with everything. They got nothing but puff pieces about the royal family. And then, of course, is Kate good, Meghan bad. William good, Meghan bad. Kate good, Harry bad. Charles good, Harry bad. Charles good, Meghan bad. That is the whole point of the Mail's royal reel, is to create negative commentary and images 24 hours a day. And God knows they hope the videos go viral, but that's what it's there for. This is a tabloid newspaper who has decided to enter this space because they are trying to go for the hearts and the minds of the Gen Zers that do not support that institution. That is why they're there. No other reason. This is not for money. This is to control the message. This is to make sure that the young people do not stray too far away from the institution. When I saw that, I'm like, that is exactly what they're trying to do. They are trying to steal the minds of the young people. So if you guys have any type of ability to work in the TikTok, please go to TikTok and make some Sussex friendly videos. It is kind of hard to manage this space and to do those kind of things too. So I don't know that I would ever have the time to do it. But please, if you can, go to those spaces and call out some of the BS from the tabloids, if you can, because that is the reason why they're there. So if you know how to do those videos, then get into that space and please make a difference. Susie Q, they did run, what's that nasty old man? What's the name of that nasty old man that they ran off of TikTok that time? He's a gossip columnist. I can't remember his name. Oh, yeah, Perez Hilton. Remember how they ran Perez Hilton off of there for trolling those kids on TikTok? and they ran him off of TikTok. Well, I hope that they'll run the male off of TikTok. But see, look at the girl that they have right there. Look at the girl. Thank you, Susie Q. Megan spotted hiking a day after the coronation. Look at her. That is the demographic that they're trying to appeal to. That's why she's doing the commentary. And look at the video. You can see that the image is studio quality, isn't it? She is literally in a studio somewhere making these videos to compete against the truth that is being told. Now, I said yesterday that there was a kid that I wanted you guys to hear, but I can't play it for you because there is music in the background, and that would get me dinged by the algorithm. But this kid was just flawless in his, testimony about the royal family and about how they, this coronation and all of the stuff that people have been saying. And this kid gets it. And so those are the people that they're trying to drown out by getting into the TikTok spaces. So anyway, I just wanted you guys to be aware of that is the next battlefield is the TikTok. Okay, so as coronation hoo-ha dies down, Prince Harry's big on sale in Albania translation. They have an Albanian translation of Spare. It's looked like it's called Nahihi, Nahiha. Well, anyway, whatever it is, there is Spare in Albania. How about that? They even have Spare in Albania. Now, where in the heck is Albania? And there's a sample of the Dior savoir-faire behind the suit worn by Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, to the coronation of King Charles III in the, what is that they call it, Altilia? Whatever that is. The wool and mohair tailcoat, vest and trouser custom designed by Kim Jones were constructed with traditional hand tailoring techniques. Well, I tell you, if that suit looks that good on a mannequin, just imagine how it's going to look once Harry puts it on. But we don't have to imagine. Voila, because we've already seen Harry wearing Dior. As a matter of fact, here Harry is wearing that very famous Dior shirt. And because of the Sussex's relationship with the Dior collection, I just wanted to bring this image of Harry wearing his Dior shirt again, where the wind just happened to expose the little bee on his shirt. See right there? It's almost like he's pointing to it like, look, I'm wearing Dior. Hey, check it out. I'm wearing Dior. What are you wearing, Harry? Dior. And of course, more Dior. He's a Dior man. Now, some people are saying that perhaps they have some type of deal with Dior. I don't know. All I know is that that is a preferred label by not only the Duke of Sussex, but of course, by the Duchess of Sussex. They're a Dior family. We love Dior. And lastly, here are some images from Simone Biles' wedding. Have you guys seen this already? They got married by the ocean, I think. I don't know where this is, but they got married by the ocean. What a great venue. What a beautiful couple. So this is love. Mm-hmm. And this is love. Da 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 da. Do do be do. Oh, he's crying. He's crying, y'all. Look at his face as he's waiting for her to walk down the aisle. He's crying. But of course, okay, the pictures are out of order. But there you go. what a beautiful wedding. I love it. Perfection. Right there by the ocean. That's beautiful. Okay, you guys. And with that, I am done. I'm just going to end with a beautiful Afrocentric image of some very regal women, since we have been flooded with sensory overload with all of those stolen jewels and blood diamonds and all of that stuff, all that wealth that has been stripped from places like Africa and Asia. And why don't we get back down to some beautiful earth tones? So there you are. Anyway, that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Thank you all for your generous contributions. And also thank you, moderators, for always keeping this the safest space that we could ever have. And yeah, that's it. So I'll be looking for your last comments. And oh, it's near Macedonia and Greece. Ah, okay. Thank you very much for that. So let me see. Greece is east of Italy, right? So it's Greece is by Turkey. Okay, so okay, I got it. So it's in that region of the Mediterranean. Very cool. And Albania is close to that or next to that. Very good. Thank you so much for that. Okay. Good night, folks. See you tomorrow. Great podcast as usual. Blessings to you all. Hugs and more hugs. Okay, that sounds like an ending to me. Thank you so much, Dorothy Ross. Well, you heard her. And we are done. I am going to cue up the Ginger Avenger. Thank you all again. Love you guys. And see you all tomorrow. So this is love. Do-do-be-do. Oh, I got to learn some more of the words. And this is love. Do-do-be-do. Or as Lionel Richie would say, and this is love. Yeah. Ah, this is love. Yes. Yeah. Ah. Oh, man. Oh, thank you, Joy Moore. I appreciate that. Good night, Karuna Raina. Good night, Andrew Bodie. Good night, Lola Love. Good night, Joy Moore. Good night, Sonia Danridge, Sonia Johnson. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay. Cue Ginger Avenger. So this is love. Do-do-be-do. La-da-da-da. So this is I wish I knew the words. Was that Lady and the Tramp? Well, so this is love. Do-do-be-do. it's just one of them songs. I thought I knew the words. Yes, thank you very much, Lydia. Please hit that like button. All right, you guys, I'm out.